Hi, kia ora, and welcome to the Creative Matters podcast, where we have really inspiring conversations with artists living in and from Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm your host, Mandy Yarkich. Hi, welcome back to the podcast. This week I'm speaking with Emma Hercus. Emma is a painter born in Hastings and living in Plimmerton, just north of Wellington. The ever-changing ocean and its view from her home serve as a constant reference in Emma's narrative, abstract, figurative paintings. I love talking to Emma. We talk about her early influences and inspiration from family as she was growing up, the amazing basketry and weaving practice she developed when she first decided to get back into being creative after having her children, which after a number of years finally led to her painting practice. We discuss her experience studying art for 3 years part-time at the Learning Connection in Taita, Wellington, and gaining a diploma in creativity. Emma shares what she loves about painting, how she incorporates mark making using her favourite scruffy brushes, layering, sanding, scratching to create beautiful marks and glimpses of colour and pattern through the layers. We explore interesting topics like using ChatGPT or AI for writing artist statements or not, framing, why she sometimes likes to elongate limbs in her paintings, where her stories come from, and the symbols in her work. We talk about her joint show coming up this week at Railway Street Gallery and Studios, which is in Auckland. It's called Wildie, a joint show with Emma and ceramicist Jen Lev. The exhibition runs from Wednesday 23rd of October to Saturday 9th of November 2024. And thank you so much to Railway Street Gallery and Studios for supporting this episode. And through this episode you'll also hear from Emma's doggy Ricky, at times, making a guest appearance. Hi Emma.
Hi, how are you?
It's great to meet you via Zoom.
Yep, nice to meet you too.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's very exciting. You've had the tour online of my studio.
Yep, and it looks amazing. I'm a bit jealous.
It is a great spot. It's not very big when it comes to art making, but it's fantastic for working in and for having podcasts in. So yeah, It's great. It's good. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
Good. And you are having a show at Railway Street Galleries next month from October the 23rd for about 3 weeks, and that's called Wildie, which is going to be amazing. Can't wait to see that. So we'll talk about that later in the episode.
Yeah.
So
cool.
You are living in Plimmerton, which is in Porirua in Wellington.
Yeah.
To be honest, I did have to look up exactly where that was. I've never heard of Plimmerton. So what do you love about living there?
Well, it's right next to the beach. So pretty much every day I either go for a run or go for a walk with my dog Ricky along the waterfront. And I don't know, I'm always inspired by all the shells and the sea and the beautiful birds. Like I often see gannets diving, and sometimes we see seals and dolphins, and like that you know, when that baby killer whale, that baby orca got washed up. Well, we were right there, we were like the third people there after that happened, which was so sad, but amazing. That that happens just out in front of where we live. And so we're part of the wildlife and the ocean, and I don't know that, and that's always becomes part of my work. And it's great for the kids. It's just entertainment,
Yeah, it's perfect.
Especially in summer. It's so good. We used to come for fish and chips when we lived in Wellington. And then when we decided that we needed a bigger house, I was like, why don't we move there? It's so nice to be by the sea. So we did. Yeah.
It's ideal. It's not too far away from the city.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you feel like you get away from it. Yeah, so no, Plimmerton's awesome.
I must come and visit next time I'm down in Wellington.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Come and have a coffee.
Yeah, I'd love to. So where were you actually born, Emma?
So I was born in Hastings in Hawke's Bay, and lived there for, I think, my first 3 years, and then moved to, mum and dad bought a farm in Taita in a little place called Ngāpuke, and there's lots of hills and a little beautiful river running through the farm. So it was just a sheep and cattle farm. Dad had some bulls for a while too. And so so we grew up there with my brother Ben, and it was amazing.
Gorgeous. And I can see how living in the countryside probably does influence your work, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't often paint interior paintings, although I'm quite interested to try it because I've got this really cool rug in my living room and I want to make it part of one of my paintings. But I just I love painting the outdoors, and
And including animals as well.
yeah, including animals. Like I like storytelling in my work. So I like creating little stories that I dream up, and so birds and people and scenes, and from memories and stories that I've heard, just whatever I come up with on the day, I suppose.
Yeah. And as a child, were you drawing a lot and doing creative things?
Yeah, I was, because I was by myself quite a lot. Because we didn't have neighbours that lived. Well, we did sometimes have neighbours that lived in the cottage, but then often we didn't. And so I do lots of drawing. I made heaps of huts. I was really into hut building, and yeah, but I did quite a lot of drawing. And Mum was really, she didn't ever paint or draw, but she was really into gardening, and sewing, and like she she always made the house look beautiful. So I feel like she had uh, an aesthetic that I picked up, like a creative way of making things look. And I suppose that kind of rubbed off on me. Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Mm.
nice.
Yeah. And her mum and her great aunt and her auntie, they used to, her aunt used to, she would paint, but then together they used to do lots of embroidery, and they used to always embroider all our clothes with like beautiful, I don't know, ducks and animals and people and flowers and all sorts. It was so beautiful. They used to make like boxes of when people used to get married and they used to get all of their sheets and
Yeah.
nighties and stuff, and so
Glory
they used to,
box.
the glory box. They used to make glory boxes for people and do all this beautiful embroidery on them. So they were super creative too, and they used to come and stay with us all the time. And so they were inspiring when I was growing up. Yeah.
Isn't that funny, that tradition of the glory box? I think that's totally a thing of the past now.
Yeah, it is. But how cool to get a glory box when you get married and open it up and pull out all those beautiful things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been fun.
Quite a neat tradition. Yeah. And
Yeah.
at high school, were you starting to show sort of skill and promise in the art room?
Yep, for sure. I loved art at school. That was my favorite subject. I actually sold one of my paintings to a teacher when I was at school, and she said she thought I would be famous one day, so she was going to buy one of my paintings.
Really?
But yeah, but no, it was I spent heaps of time in the art room. I mean, I went to boarding school, so and it was kind of a boarding school in the middle of nowhere. So on the weekends, I'd spend lots of time just painting and hanging out in the art room with some of my other friends. Yeah, it was great.
Were you thinking at that stage that you would have a creative career?
Well, I was definitely hoping, but I don't think many people really made much of a career out of painting. I wasn't really encouraged to do fine arts when I left. I was more encouraged to do, like the design side of things. But that was good because, I mean, I had such fun time at university, made loads of friends, and the marketing's probably helped me. along the way. And I feel like I did well at school with my art, but I feel like now I've got more of a story. I don't know, I've got a lot more to draw on being older. I feel like if I went straight into art school when I left school, I wouldn't have appreciated it as much, or I wouldn't have, I don't know. I don't know, maybe I would have, who knows. But
Yeah.
I loved going to the Learning Connection in my 40s. I feel like that I just had so much passion, and I had all these ideas, and I had a lifetime of stories to draw from, and maybe that helped me. Yeah, so it's a really great art school, and they do awesome correspondence. So for people living all around New Zealand, and if they're not close to an art school, they can study through the Learning Connection, and they do lots of stuff through Zoom, have Zoom meetings, and I don't know, go to classes online and stuff. But I went there, which it's in Taita, and they have some awesome tutors. They've got Gary Fremantle and Dan Wilkinson, loads of Marcy Tackett. She's a printmaking tutor, and so they've got like this incredible print room, and they've also, you can do ceramics. So I did a bit of ceramics. I tried all sorts of stuff. I did assemblage there, which was really fun with Perry. And like they make you try all sorts of stuff, and then you kind of figure out what you like. But I knew I always really wanted to do painting, because I love painting, and I always have enjoyed just the 2D side of things. Although I did do the basketry, but yeah, it was super fun. And when I was there, I was doing that piece. I did that piece in Gary Fremantle's class that won the National Contemporary Art Award, which was super exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing. What painting was that?
It was the one. It's called Red Handed, and it was one that I did in his class. And because he's like always encourages you to do heaps of experimenting, and he always says, "Don't worry about what your painting is going to look like." And he was saying, you just like even just start off thinking, "Oh, this is going to be a shit painting," and then then you don't care. It doesn't matter, and you just are really free and just playing, and that's often where the magic happens, I suppose. So that painting that I did red-handed was one that I was doing all these paintings on wet linen, so just like completely wetting the linen and then using really wet acrylic to make an image, and so it would all bleed and run, and I had laid the linen on top of this old, when you're in art classes and there's all those boards that people use to press on and to put on an easel. So I was doing it on an old one of those, and it had all this paint splatters and all sorts on the actual board. And so when I pulled up this linen, and I'd used all these intense like fluoros and colours like that, and then when I peeled the linen off the board, there were all these amazing patterns and textures and stuff that were on the board underneath, and I actually thought that the board underneath looked better than the painting that I'd done on the linen. So then I just made a few changes to that, and yeah.
Oh,
And
how amazing.
yeah, and it
Yeah, and
became,
congratulations on winning that award. It's amazing.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was I totally wasn't expecting it. It was really exciting. And it was cool because my mum was there, and we like had a couple of glasses of champagne, and we were wandering around, and I was just thinking everyone looked, like really like they were just serious artists, and I was I was a bit wowed by everyone and everything, and then they called out my name, and I just couldn't believe it. It was so cool.
Yeah, well done. So just back on that Learning Connection, is that is an art school as it's seen as like a university, and do you come out with some form of certificate or degree?
Well, I don't think they do a degree yet, but I came out with a diploma a diploma in creativity. Yeah.
Mm.
So I mean, they kind of let you do your own thing and just encourage you and maybe give you some techniques along the way. And yeah, but
And how long were you studying there?
so I think I did 3 years part-time there.
Mm. I
Yeah.
mean, it just feels like such a great way to really encourage you to just get making and sort of really
Yeah.
get going with your art practice.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I got that well, yeah, I got a scholarship to go there through Taita. There was this Porirua art competition. That's how I ended up going. I wasn't actually planning on studying, but it was super helpful. And they make you think about, your goals and where you want to where you want to go with your art and what you want it to be like. And I don't know, they just make you think about it a little bit more than you would if you were just by yourself. So I did build an artist community there, which was really cool. But I also I had a studio on Paikakariki for about 6 or 7 years. Yeah, and I got there after I started doing the basketry, which is another thing that
It's another thing. So
yeah.
we've kind of jumped ahead slightly. I was just wondering, when you left school, you studied marketing and design.
Yeah.
Um, how did you find that, and where did that take you before you actually discovered your painting practice and
Ah.
other parts of your art practice?
So it didn't really take me well. I mean, I didn't. I ended up doing coming out of university and working for a letterbox distribution company, which was like so boring. But it was fun. There were fun people that I worked with, and then I just ended up going overseas and just having fun traveling around the place and doing heaps of hospitality and just all sorts of random jobs. And I always painted, like I'd be painting and stuff in my flats and having sketchbooks all along the way, visiting galleries. Like I was always interested in doing art, but I didn't really ever think I could make a career of it. And so yeah, so I did all sorts of random jobs, but nothing really that I was all that passionate about. I mean, to be honest, I'm not really a corporate kind of a person, if you know what I mean. I'm not, yeah. I prefer to just be my own boss and be relaxed and
Yeah,
yeah.
which I think
Yeah.
most guests on the podcast aren't very corporate, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing in my eyes.
Yeah, yeah, me too, me too. So that's when I had kids. That's when I thought to myself, I just really need to do something creative because I don't want to do corporate stuff for the rest of my life. It doesn't interest me. So that's when I started. I thought, right, I'm going to do basketry. I love baskets. I love garden sculptures um, and so, yeah, so I approached this guy called Eddie Douglas up in Otaki, and he's this lovely guy who has been doing it for years and years and years. He's he still weaves. He did all the stuff for like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and yeah, so he makes amazing stuff. And so I used to go up there when the kids were little on their kindy days. I'd drive up to Otaki and spend some time weaving with him. And so I learned how to make willow baskets, and then we shared a crop together. So I learned how to like grow the willow and harvest it and look after the crop and do all of that kind of the whole basket weaving process, which was amazing and
Yeah,
really
it sounds
fun.
amazing. And what a great way to learn from a crafter and as like a mentor in a way, and not actually going
Yeah.
to do workshops, you know.
Yeah, it was really cool, and he's quite a funny guy, he's just a bit of a laugh, tells good stories and stuff. So it was great hanging out with Eddie, and so we're still
Sounds
friends. We still see each other. he comes to my exhibitions and stuff, and yeah.
So do you
Yeah.
feel like the basketry was the beginning of your art practice and maybe the beginning of you seeing yourself as an artist?
Yeah, it was. Well, so it kind of took off, the making of baskets, and then I started doing light shades as well, and willow balls and all sorts. And then I thought I needed a studio because to sell them in, because yeah, you need somewhere to show your work. So there was a studio that came up in Paikakiriki, which is just 15 minutes north of Plimmerton. So and there were like other artists that have studios in the same place. So I joined them, and that was amazing. And so I had like 7 years there, and and then because I had stuff like all the baskets and the light shades and things, I thought I wanted something on the walls. So I had these old cable ends, those cables, and so those big wooden cable things that you put. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I had the cable ends, and I just covered up the holes and then painted on them and hung them on the wall, and they sold really quickly. So then I just kept on painting, and then painting just took over. Now I just paint and not so much the baskets. It also got a bit hard doing the baskets when our house was being renovated and my art studio was being renovated at the same time, because you need like lots of space to make baskets, high ceilings, and you make a huge mess. So yeah, I just was painting, and now I'm just so busy with the painting that I haven't had much of a chance to do the basketry stuff.
Oh, that's so interesting that was kind of what kickstarted your painting practice in a way. I guess it was inspiring for you and you just started thinking more creatively.
Yeah. It's quite meditative when you're weaving as well. You've got lots of time to think about things, and
Yeah.
potentially come up with painting ideas and what you can create. So yeah, it was good.
And it's so beautiful when you look at your Instagram account, at the bottom there's all the beautiful
Yeah.
baskets that you've made, which are absolutely stunning. And I love the lamps that you've made out of willow. They're really beautiful. And
Yeah.
then also the huts that you made out of willow, which are like these
Yeah.
incredible sculptures for the garden, I guess. And
Yeah.
that sort of harps back to your youth, doesn't it?
My hut building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, yes, I still love love building huts. Like driftwood beach huts. They're fun too. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I love it when people do that on the beach and you come across them and just like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And somebody,
Yeah.
I remember in Taranaki, I think it was, coming across somebody had made a Christmas tree out of driftwood on the beach
Yeah. Yeah,
at Christmas
beautiful.
time. And it's just like, oh my God, so
So
beautiful.
cool. So
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah. Do you feel like you miss
The
that
weaving.
craft? Mm.
Well, I still do. I still make willow balls just for the garden. And I suppose sometimes I do a bit of crafty stuff with my artwork. Um, but no, I mean, I just love painting so much. It's the storytelling and all the colors and stuff. It's just super fun.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
love the idea of a willow ball. I'd love one for my garden. Quite tricky.
Oh,
And willow's really soft, isn't it? It bends.
yeah, it's really bendy. I mean, there's different varieties. So some varieties are more bendy than others. But yeah, and the stuff, once it's dry, you have to soak it for like about a week to make it supple again. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Interesting.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
let's get on to your painting practice.
Yeah.
Can you describe your paintings for us?
I'll describe my paintings. So my paintings are I paint a lot of people, and they tell a story, which I like the viewer to, come up with themselves, because everyone has a story in their head, and I kind of think that's nice that they have their own. Um, and I use loads of color and textures, and I paint with acrylic. I often paint in a square format. I like big squares, and mostly I paint paintings that I can fit into my car, so I can move them around place. Um, yeah. I don't know how would I describe my paintings? They've got lots of layers of paint. Often a painting over a painting over a painting. Yeah.
That's interesting. If you
Mm.
don't like the painting, you do another
Yeah.
painting?
Yeah. And I love
Really?
that. I like paintings coming up underneath other
Yeah.
paintings. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and you can sometimes see little bits of it, and I feel like it's a nice history.
Yeah, tells another story almost.
Mm. Yeah.
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 And your your painting is it just the way that you paint feels quite unique. Can you talk about your actual process? I mean, it seems like you're adding marks. Yeah, you do quite a lot of scratching and sort of mark making on top of the paint, don't you?
Yeah. 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 I do look, and I like using really scruffy brushes. Um, my favorite brush just broke the other day. I was gutted because it was like this old, scruffy, horrible brush, but it just made these really cool marks. So I'll paint. I don't really. I do a little bit of a scribble drawing in a sketchbook sometimes, but not always. Um, and then I start painting, but it always changes as I go. And I don't know. I'm just always trying to experiment with different ways of putting the paint down. Um, and different. So I'll paint it, and then sometimes I throw a heap of paint all over my painting and ruin it completely, and then scrape it off again and sand it and scratch into it, and so that it ends up with all these beautiful marks and little tiny bits of color coming up out of other, you might have a white bird, but it's got all these different colors coming up through the white, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
but yeah, that seems to be quite a feature in your work, really, doesn't it? And sometimes those marks form patterns, and
Yeah,
sometimes they're just lines.
I love patterns. I'm kind of obsessed with patterns. I do loads of that in my work. I like clothes. Like I never do naked people because I just actually love clothes, and I love the patterns and coming up with, I don't know, cool outfits for
Yeah.
the people. Yeah.
And you really do. I mean, it feels like your paintings are very, they're filled with symbols in a way, aren't they? And often the clothes are part of is one of the symbols.
Yeah. Like sometimes if I want them to be of a certain era, like,
Mm.
you know, from the 70s or something, I'll put them in like I don't know, like a checkered vest or something like that.
Yeah, I love it. And also, I mean, you're kind of adding information about the characters by the way they're dressed, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
which is quite fun.
yeah, thanks. I like
Yeah.
them to not look too real as well. I don't want
Yeah, I was going to say
anything to
that
be
your
too realistic.
paintings, they seem to have they're kind of a combination between real, realistic, figurative, and abstract in a way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're figurative, aren't they? That's how you see them.
Well, they're figurative. Would you call them abstract figurative? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, they're not really
They're
abstract, but
they're like representations of
yeah,
people, not exact kind of people. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like the way you paint
Mm.
gives it that abstract feeling, really, but it's still quite representational. But then you
Yeah.
do take the figures to sort of new places sometimes with elongated feet or elongated fingers, which
Yeah.
is interesting. Where do you think that comes from?
Well, someone told me that elongated things are just interesting, and I think that they were right. Like it's just interest. It just makes it more interesting to look at, having
Mm,
like particularly long arms or legs or hands or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
that's probably why I do it. Just,
And
yeah.
not all of your paintings do that, do they? Just some.
No, not all of them. I
Mm,
just like to just do whatever I feel like makes for whichever painting.
Yeah.
So I don't really follow any rules or anything.
So
Mm.
you're placing your figures in the landscape.
Yeah.
How do you work out what the landscape's like?
Well, sometimes I just look out the window and I'll paint what's out the window, or sometimes I take photos when I'm out and about. I don't often sit in the landscape and paint. I'd rather take a photo and come back to where all my stuff is, and it's just comfy and easy.
Mm.
But I would quite like to do some plein air stuff. It's
Mm.
just it's just quite windy here.
Yeah.
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 And I do generally paint on quite big, like a meter by a meter. So they're a decent size, kind of hard to cart around the place. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's tricky. Well, maybe that would be a good time to introduce a tiny series potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
And you said that your works were narrative. Where are
hmm
these stories coming from? What are they referring to?
So all sorts. Sometimes it's just from memories that I have of like growing up and like special people to me. Sometimes it's, something that's happened just recently, or like I'll see something in the landscape. I mean, just everything. Sometimes I'll like be driving along and something will just come to me and I'll like, oh wow, I have to paint that. Um, yeah. So, and I mean, I like painting people that I love, people that mean something to me. Yeah. Mm.
Mm. So you do know most of the people you're painting?
Well, I mean, I suppose they are representations of people that I know or myself. But I don't make them look exactly like that person. It might just have them in mind or a story about someone in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the story that you build around that character, is that sort of something that's happened to that person, or could it be completely disconnected?
Uh, well, it could be completely disconnected. Like one I'm looking at the moment, it's like a girl holding an egg, and this gannet's like staring at the girl, and that's like kind of loosely based off my daughter Ivy. But I've never seen her with a gannet
Mm.
and holding a gannet's egg. But it's that whole thing about like, I don't know, like having a family and, you know, and the egg being precious, like, your children are so precious. And, yeah, so I think, I don't know, I always have a bit of a story. I'm not that good at describing the stories that I have in my head. I feel like people are better at figuring that out themselves.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's a great thing too, isn't it? And then making your
yeah,
own connections.
yeah, exactly.
Mm. But I really do love your technique. Your painting technique feels very much a signature, Emma Hercus signature. And it feels like you're creating paintings that people, they know they're yours, and you're creating quite a special, unique style.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yay, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh,
Yeah, and
thanks.
so how did you actually get started with your painting, from going from basketry into painting? Where did you go? Because you were at that point self-taught.
Yep. And so I was in the art studio with a whole lot of other painters. So Alan Wehi Pehana, and Diana Farry, um, they were Chris Small. So those are some of the painters, and Francis Zalo. Anyway, they just surrounded by them doing their paintings, and they kind of, Alan used to give me lots of ideas on composition and what works compositionally, and ideas of how to apply paint. We did lots of assemblage together, me and Alan. He does lots of carving and stuff as well
Hmm.
as painting. So I suppose I picked up ideas from them. And then I've just I just listen to so many podcasts about artists. I'm like completely obsessed with, like, when I started painting, I just became completely obsessed. And so I've just been reading books and listening to podcasts and going to exhibitions and just looking at art online. Just I'm just 24/7. I'm pretty much just thinking about it.
Really?
Apart from when I'm hanging out with my kids, and then I'm just doing that.
How amazing that you discovered that. So what was the plan? Were you thinking, okay, I'm going to be a painter and I'm going to make this my full-time career?
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose I was trying to make the baskets and the lights and trying to make that my career, and then I started selling paintings, and the paintings, well, you don't spend that much money on a basket, and I could sell my paintings for more, but that wasn't the main reason. The main reason was I loved it so much, and I kind of realized as I was selling them in the studio I was selling some through Instagram, that maybe I could turn this into a career. And I kind of had this idea that if I could do it, if I could get it up and going before Freddie started school, then I wouldn't have to go back to an office job. so
Yeah.
so that's what I did, and it worked out. And now I've got like this really flexible um, career that I love, that fits in with my family, and my husband Stu's like really supportive and amazing and about it. He loves it. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What a great position to be in.
Yeah.
And now, over those years, you've connected with galleries. You're with Muse Gallery in Havelock North
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
also 26 Constable Street, which is in Wellington, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah. And then Railway
And
Street Gallery.
and Railway Street. Yeah. So Railway Street Studios
Yeah.
is and gallery is a different kind of space, isn't it? It's not your average gallery. Can you tell us about how that works?
Yeah. So Erin approached me uh, maybe 2 years ago, and it's a really beautiful space because they have like art studios up above where some of the artists work that have exhibitions in the gallery, and so they often are looking after the gallery space, um, and they have lots of group exhibitions there. But I'm not actually. I mean, I obviously don't live in Auckland, so I don't work in that studio space. But it's yeah, it's really nice. It's maybe more relaxed and, I don't know, open to emerging artists there, which is
Yeah.
cool.
And so if somebody wanted to show there, you just get in touch with Erin, is that right?
Yeah, you get in touch with Erin and she can have a look at your work and see if it's something that would work for the gallery. Yeah, and I suppose they must sometimes have studio spaces that come up as well. Yeah.
That would be a great place for a studio. It'd be amazing. And
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about the show Wildy, which is a group show with,
With my friend Jen Leoff. So she's a ceramicist, and so we kind of had the idea that we'd like to. I mean, I love painting the outdoors anyway. But we wanted to incorporate like the wilderness, like the New Zealand wilderness, and talk about how things how we relate, how people relate to the wild, and how it's an essential part of our lives. But you know, modern life is kind of pulls us away from it quite a lot these days. So I suppose it's like celebrating, embracing the wilderness around us, you know, yeah, and the
yeah.
beauty and.
And how does your work connect with the ceramics?
Well, Jen's work is really it's really organic looking, and beautiful browns and greens and whites and speckled clay, and so she has made some. She made some pottery. I put one of her. She made this beautiful moth, and I've um put that inside one of my paintings, which is cool. And then she's also made some beautiful flowers. And I think she's got some bowls and vases that she's going to bring in. But when she's working, when you're a ceramicist, you put stuff in the kiln and you don't know what's going to come out. So just she's still discovering what is going to be part of the exhibition.
That's exciting. Yeah. And then you're still sort of both responding to the wild in some way.
Yeah.
That is so good. I think that would be a lovely, lovely show. And just looking at some of the works that are going into that show, they are incredible. Oh my God, I just love your painting so much.
Oh, thanks.
I really do.
I'd love everyone to come along if they're interested. Be nice to meet them. And I will have about 20 works, and there's big ones and little ones, and I like my paintings that are part of the show. They're fun.
And I'm definitely going to make it to the opening. So when is the actual opening?
So the opening is on the 24th of October, which is a Thursday, and it's I think it's from 6 to 8. Yeah.
Have you actually sold some paintings for that show, sort of pre-sold already?
I think maybe Erin has sold one painting, but none of the other ones. And I don't know. I think she's doing she's releasing some paintings the week before, so they'll go online, and then, but not all of them.
And you do seem to have a very high success rate with your sales, just from looking at Instagram. A lot of your works do sell. You had a solo show this year in June at 26 Constable Street Gallery. And it seems like you are selling really well, despite the fact that some artists aren't this year.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know. Maybe it's because people can relate to them because they're of people, and they feel like maybe they can see themselves in my work. I'm not sure. But that exhibition was so amazing. I hadn't exhibited at 26 before, and it's a really beautiful space. And Petra, who owns the gallery, she's such a kind, lovely person to work with, and she's a really great curator as well. So it looked really good. I had this big vase of gorse, because it was, I don't know, it kind of was about our family coming to New Zealand and being, I don't know, where we lived and that kind of thing. It was, the whole exhibition was based from this suitcase of old photos that my mum had pulled out from the garage and given to me. So they go back to the 1800s, which is cool. So there were some really old ones. And so that was just my inspiration. And I just wanted to celebrate, my ancestors and who they were, and they obviously loved their families and were really close and cherished their children, and spent a lot of time outside, getting crayfish at Waimarama Beach, and there was one of the skiers up the mountain drinking whiskey. Yeah, just cool stories that were just fun to tell. And so I could just keep painting from that suitcase. There's so many more potential paintings in there. So
I can imagine. And that was called Kindred.
Yeah, that was called Kindred. Yeah.
Solo show. Yeah, which is what an incredible resource, such a great starting point to have all those beautiful photos.
Yeah. And I did use them just as a starting point, because then I just would go off whatever I felt like doing. It just change it up, Yeah. And Mum really liked it. And there were a couple with her in it. So So that's
She
good.
was happy.
Yeah, she was happy. She was
Uh-huh.
happy.
But
Yeah.
that, I mean, is a beautiful legacy for your family, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It was cool. I felt like I learned a lot about them and who they were um and what they were into, and so it was really nice because some of them I had never met, but I felt by staring at those photos and going through them over and over again, I learned a lot about the kind of people that they were.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mhm.
love that. And
Hmm.
you probably, yeah, ended up feeling quite connected to them, but it also is a great way for you to ask those questions and find out more about your
Yeah,
ancestors.
yeah, for sure. And I did. I had chats with Mum and my auntie Wendy um, about the people in the photos and the stories and stuff that went along with them. So that
Mm.
was yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And then you have another series called the Saggy Tits series,
Oh yeah.
which is brilliant, and that's celebrating the bodies of aging women.
Yep, yep, like me. And just, I mean, it was celebrating women and their bodies and just how their bodies are beautiful, just exactly how they are, and we don't need to be perfect. But then it was also a really simple composition, um, to use to explore like color and contrast and patterns and painting techniques as well. So I was doing that when I was at the Learning Connection. So it was quite a good way just to be playful, but not think about the composition so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were dressed, the people, but the saggy tits were kind of put on top of the clothing mostly, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah, and then recently, my friend Ash, who's in the studio in Paikakariki, Ashley Church, she does amazing tufting, and so she took one of my compositions and she tufted it, so made like a woolen rug out of it, and I've got it on my wall at home, and it's so fun, and I love it. So that was cool collaboration.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, isn't it? Looking at the tufting.
It's so
Um,
textural and gorgeous.
yeah. And
Mm.
like Claudia Kagachi, have you seen her work?
No.
No, she's an incredible New Zealand artist. And she paints, but then she tufts her paintings as well, and they're like amazing. Mm.
Oh, really? She does both herself.
Yeah, she does both herself. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, I've started introducing thread into my work,
Yeah.
which is with paint, so I love just that whole textural element of art, and then the tufting is just such a beautiful interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
I love that one that Ashley did of yours. It's so cool and so
Thanks.
fun. Yeah. And I guess that work sort of gave you nice big open shapes that you could kind of play in with your paint.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And just learning about how to work with paint and different things that you can do
Mm.
um was really fun. Yeah.
And your framing for your paintings, very cool. And you use Wallace Studio and Lauren, she's the owner.
Yep, she's the owner. So she's got Wallace Studio, which are those beautiful shaped frames in all different colours. And then she also has Redican framing, which is more the straight wooden frames that she either stains or sprays. But she's great because always go in there and I'll take like 5 pieces or however many, and we look at the paintings and we figure out what we think would be great,
Hmm.
and what colors, and so she's so she's so flexible, and she's got a really good eye as well. So I think I've learned lots about what frames work through Lauren. She went to art school as well, so she's got a good idea. Um, yeah, so no, she's been amazing with
I love
work.
her frames that she does that are a little bit wonky.
Yeah.
How does she actually make those? Are they sort of bespoke for a
Yeah, she
particular
cuts them out.
painting?
She cuts them out. She makes a whole lot. She's actually just started selling them online through Wallace Studio, her website. So you can buy a frame with the backboard on it, and then she just sends it to you. So so then you prime up that backboard, and then once you've finished the painting, you just insert it into the frame yourself.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so good. So I've done that. I've done that with some works, and it's been great. I did it to one the other day though, and it was like this. I thought it would be amazing. It was like this tomato red oval, and and then I painted the painting for it, and I loved the painting, but the red just wasn't going to work.
Really?
But she repainted that for me. Yeah, I tried to make it work. I tried really hard to make it work, but I think my paintings are so intensely coloured, and this one was maybe a bit dark, and it overshadowed the art, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds an amazing service. I think a couple of guests I've spoken to are using her framing studio, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's always good to give a shout out to New Zealand business, small business.
Yeah. She's awesome.
So good. Okay, so I think we might be ready for the questions. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay. So what would you say to your younger artistic self?
I'd probably say that just to believe in yourself and your work, and that, people will love it. I mean, everyone that makes art, there's generally someone out there who will fall in love with it. And that also I'll probably tell myself that a career in art is possible. It's not, it's something that you can do. And and I think we should encourage more people to get into the arts, because it's amazing. We need it. Yeah.
What do you find most challenging living a life as an artist?
Well, I think I'm getting better at it now, but like just navigating the art world and how it works, like figuring out how all of that tax stuff and how to run my business was one thing, and then also approaching galleries and how to work with galleries. That was a bit of a learning curve. But I mean, all the galleries that I'm with are amazing. They're just such lovely people and really encouraging and helpful. And but I think it's just something you figure out along the way. Like I think every artist has their own journey, and everyone's different. You don't have a boss kind of telling you what to do and what needs to get done. You just have to figure that out for yourself. Yeah. But that's a nice challenge, I suppose. Also writing about my artwork I found challenging, and writing artist bios and art statements and all of that. But I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, you would. I wonder if there's actually somebody who provides that service. There must be.
Like AI helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Chat GPT, or what's it, Gemini is the other one? Yeah.
Yeah, I have plugged sometimes when I'm really stuck on trying to name a painting, I'll go, so I've got a painting and it's of this, and this, and what shall I call it? And then it'll give me about 10 different names. And they're usually a little bit cheesy, but they give me an idea to start from anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the great thing about that service, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it is a good starting point, and then you can. I think that it's really important that you go back and then make it your own after they've given you the ideas. I mean, I've had a few people applying for a job with Creative Matters lately, and I can just tell when it's been written. They've gone through AI to write the cover letter, and it puts me off. It really puts me off, because it doesn't. Yeah. It just doesn't give me a little insight into the person, and that's what I like the cover letter for. I can think it gives me a little sense of the person. But these ones are so sort of
generic sounding.
They're so generic, and they're so sort of slightly funny language at times, not a way that you'd actually speak. And it just
Not,
feels
it's not
doesn't.
New Zealand. It's not New Zealand speak anyway, is it?
No, and it's
Yeah.
not doesn't always feel genuine and authentic, even though the person might read it through and think, "Yep, that's actually what I want to say."
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, I've used it for funding applications at times just to help me format a good
Yeah.
answer to that particular question. But
Yeah.
then, and then you feed in all your ideas, obviously, but then just going back and spending just as much time tweaking it so
Changing
that
it.
it's just right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. You have to change it up because otherwise it just doesn't sound like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because I'm old fashioned, but I just don't want to meet the person who's written a cover letter through that.
Completely.
It's
I
like,
know.
nah, not
Yeah.
interested.
Oh, well, that's a good pointer for the listeners out there.
Yeah. If one of the listeners happens to be one of the applicants, send me
Yeah.
another cover letter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And what artists inspire you or inform your work in some way?
So artists sort of, I mean, I'm always looking at new artists and different artists, but I have been massively inspired by Bill Hammond lately. Um, he painted only in acrylic, and there's not many like artists as well renowned as Bill Hammond. I mean, what he did with paint was incredible. So I just love, and I love his storytelling. I love his work. And I'm also like Henri Rousseau. I often look at his work. I love his plants and his trees and his people and he tells beautiful stories as well. Selman Tor, have you seen Selman Tor's work?
No, no.
I think he is living in the UK, but he just paints the most incredible oil paintings, but just the most beautiful colours, and they're of people and figurative people. Like he's gay, so there's lots of kind of gay men scenes and out partying. Like he's quite young. He looks like he's got lots of friends. He's always going out for dinner, and those are the kind of scenes that he paints, and they're just so beautiful. His brushwork's incredible, and yeah, yes, those artists. I mean, I could just keep go on and on. I went to the Sydney Contemporary over last week because I just was so interested to see it, and like I also went to the Gallery in New South Wales, which is amazing. And there's this guy there called Joshua Yeldham, and the art gallery that had his work, like his work just took up so much space, and it just blew me away. Like he paints on wood, and then he'll like carve into the wood, and then he gets willow or cane, and he'll like drill holes and he'll weave that into it, and then he makes ceramic frames. And oh my God, like the whole
Wow.
exhibition it would have taken forever to make all of this work. It was just so beautiful. So you should check that out. Joshua Yeldham
Mm. Yes, I will.
from
And
Australia. Yeah.
have you ever thought about using your basketry skills in some way and combining with painting?
Yeah, I have. I've been thinking about that for frames. I've thought, I wonder if I could kind of drill holes into the sides and weave a frame.
Yeah.
Would be quite cool. Um, or else painting on the actual willow, like paint it, you know, but it would
Mm.
have huge amounts of texture. It had to be something quite abstract and simple because you can't put much detail into that if you're
Mm.
something woven.
I think
Yeah.
that would be really beautiful, especially frames.
Yeah, it could be really cool.
Mm.
So that's potential future. I'm thinking about that quite a lot. Frames. I mean,
Mm.
I love Lauren's frames, but I also am thinking about embellishing somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
it's nice to be able to use that skill that you've had, that you've learned and sort of
Yeah.
bring it back into your
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Mm.
sure.
And where
Yes.
do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So in the next 5 years, I think I'd really love to do an art residency. So I'm kind of looking at art residencies around the world. Love to go to France or America or anywhere really. I just love to go overseas and learn and be with other artists. And so there's one that I've applied for that I'd love to get, and it's with this paint company called Golden, and they make all the paint that I use, and so they teach all the residents all different techniques to use with their paint. So that would be incredible. But I don't know. You never know. You just apply, and if you don't get in, then you just try again later.
Yeah. Keep
Yeah.
persevering. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why are you making the kind of work you make?
Well, I think mostly because like I paint people because I love people, and I feel like when I paint people that I love or people, experiences that I've had, then when they mean something to you, it makes a better work. Like it's more powerful. Yeah. So that's why I paint what I paint. Stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you thought about extending your reach out of New Zealand?
I have sold some in Australia, and I've sold a couple to a guy in Washington, and someone to a lady and a couple to a lady in America. But I haven't actually. Well, I have exhibited in Australia. I haven't been anywhere else, but I would love to. Yeah, for sure. But I suppose potentially the art residencies could lead to exhibiting overseas. Yeah.
And
It's
connecting
also,
with another gallery.
yeah. I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter where your art is sold. But it would be fun traveling with my art, because flying overseas is amazing, and you learn lots from different people around the world about their how they do it. Like I thought it was incredible how Robin White went to Kiribati. You know Robin White?
Yeah.
And she spent all that time learning about their art techniques and how they use paint and they paint on those the cloth and the paper, and I thought that was just so inspiring.
Yeah. To be influenced by the people around you or by the culture would
Yeah,
be
and
amazing.
totally, and to be working alongside them and collaborating and stuff. But I mean, that would be such an incredible experience, and would bring so much more to your artwork as well. So yeah, something like that down the track when the kids have, sorted their school and stuff.
Yeah.
For sure would be awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? So
Yeah.
exciting.
So
Well,
much
Emma,
to look forward to.
it's been so nice to meet you. I wish that we were in person. You were in my studio here. It's been so nice meeting you, and I'm very inspired by your work. Thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Awesome. Nice to meet you too, Mandy.